بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة لأهل التقوى واليقين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين العبد المؤيد الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Dear brothers and sisters, today I am going to explain the rules of Wudhu. Wudhu is one of the acts of ibadah. It is an act of worship if it is done with the intention of complying God's order or with the intention of obeying God's order. Every religious act should be done with such an intention. No act, no deed would be valid, no deed would be in order if it is done with an intention other than complying God's order. So we have to do and perform our religious acts, whether it's prayer, whether it's fasting, whether it's giving khums or zakat, or whether it's performing hajj or performing wudu, with the intention of seeking nearness to God and complying God's order. Now, one of the obligatory actions and one of the deeds which we perform every day is the act of wudu. We need to perform wudu because we offer prayers 5 times a day. And of course, wudu is needed for a number of actions, for a number of deeds, like prayer. Every obligatory prayer except namaz mayyit, or the prayer which is performed on a dead body, requires wuzu. We must perform wuzu, and we must be in the state of ritual purity in order to perform certain acts like prayers. Only the prayer which is offered on a dead body, which is called salat mayyit or namaz mayyit, does not need wudu. You can perform it without performing wuzu, although if you perform wuzu, it would be better. It is recommended to perform wuzu. If you have time, if you can perform it, then it's better to do it. In any case, if you want to perform tawaf of the house of God, tawaf of the Kaaba, you must be in the state of ritual purity. If you want to perform the prayer of tawaf, the prayer which you offer after performing or after completing the tawaf, the circumambulation, then you have to perform wudu. And also, if you want to perform a forgotten sajda or a forgotten tashahhud, you must be in the state of wuzu. You cannot perform a forgotten sajda or a forgotten tashahhud without ritual purity, without wudu. And also, if you want to touch the script of the Holy Quran, or touch the names of Allah, or the names of the Holy Prophet, or the Imams as an obligatory precaution, you must be in the state of wuzu. You cannot touch them. Similarly, if you have made a vow, or nadhr, in Arabic we call it nadhr, then that you will do a certain act in the state of wuzu, or that you will touch the Quran, or for example, do a certain religious act after performing wudu, then you have to act in accordance with the nadhr. You have to comply the nadhr. You cannot perform the nadhr in a different way. So these are the acts, these are the religious duties which require wudu and which require us to perform wudu and to be in the state of ritual purity. Now the question is, how are we going to perform wudu, and what is the best and the correct way to perform wudu? Dear brothers and sisters, when you want to perform wudu, you need to wash your face first of all. And then you need to wash the right hand, beginning from the elbow down to the tip of the finger, as our Sunni brothers do. If you wash your hands backward, then there is no doubt that your wudu would be wide. So when your wudu is wide, of course, your prayer would be wide as well. So it's necessary to wash your face and your hands downwards. And when you wash your face, you have to start it from the point where your hair grows on the forehead, from that point downwards to the tip of your chin. And of course, as far as the width and breadth of the face is concerned, you need the breadth, of course, or the width should be washed to the part covered between the thumb and the middle finger. Now the thumb and the middle finger should be taken into consideration. Some people have long fingers, or some people have long thumbs, fingers, or big hands, or some people have small hands. We have to consider a regular individual's hands as the criterion, as the standard. And of course, it's not necessary for a person who has long fingers to wash the entire face, even those parts adjacent to the ears, because he has long nails and long fingers. And the same way, a person who has short hands or short fingers, he has to make sure that he washes the necessary part, of course, the part between the thumb and the middle finger. And in order for him to make sure, he has to wash the adjacent part in order to be sure that he has washed his face entirely. Now, as far as the hands are concerned, of course, some people do wash their hands first before washing their faces. It is not necessary to wash your hands before washing the face. The first part that needs to be washed, and that's obligatory to be washed, is the face. You have to wash your face first and then the hands. One thing to remember is that you have to make sure that there is no impediment, no dirt on your face or on your hands. Because if there is dirt on your hands, then the dirt will form a barrier, it will form an obstruction, an impediment that will prevent water from reaching the skin. Before washing your face and your hands, you have to make sure that there is no dirt on your face or on your hands. Some people, when they wake up, they have dirt on their eyes or maybe on their lips. They have to remove the dirt. They have to remove the obstruction. They have to remove anything that forms an obstruction between the water and the skin. Dear brothers and sisters, of course, many of you know that washing your face and your hands is obligatory once. But washing your hands and face twice is recommended. It is mustahab to wash your face and your hands twice. But washing the face and the hands thrice is forbidden. It is haram to wash it thrice and to wash the hands and the face 3 times. Now, pouring water for many times on your face and on your hands will be counted as one washing. For example, if you pour water on your face 10 times, that is considered as one washing. It depends on your niyat and your intention. You pour water on your face once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, and you can make the niyat that this is the first washing. That is considered to be the first washing according to Islamic Sharia. Okay, you pour water 3 times, 5 times, 6 times, and then you wash your face. You move your hands on your face. Of course, when you move your hands on your face and you wipe the water on your face, then that is definitely considered to be washing once. Again, you pour water on your face and you wipe your face to remove the water, then that is also considered the second washing. So, this has to be taken into consideration that pouring water many times is not considered washing many times. It is considered one time washing, and it depends on your niyat and on your intention. You pour many times water and you consider the whole pouring as one time washing. Now, when you have completed washing the elbows, of course, as I mentioned, when you have washed your hands, both hands, you should, while washing the hands, you should make sure that you wash your hands downwards. And of course, you have to include the elbows as well. The elbows have to be washed, and in order to make sure that you have washed the entire hand, then a little portion of the upper part of the elbow should be included in wudhu. That is to make sure that your wudhu is valid, your wudhu is correct. Dear brothers and sisters, the next obligatory action, the next obligatory part of wudhu is to wipe your head. And of course, you need to wipe your head from the top of your head, and it should be only the front part of your head has to be wiped. As far as the width and breadth of the wiping is concerned, the length has to be the size of a finger, but the width should be 3 joint fingers. When you wipe your forehead, you have to wipe it downward. Of course, there are some scholars who have said that it's that wiping upward is also valid. Okay, you need to investigate. You need to refer to the epistles of Islamic laws that is written by your mujtahid, and of course, while wiping the forehead, you must make sure that your fingers do not reach the moisture on your forehead. You have to wipe it downward, and make sure that your fingers do not reach the moisture on your forehead. If it ever reaches, or if you touch the moisture on your forehead, then of course you cannot wipe your feet with the same moisture that you have transferred from your forehead. You have to use the finger that has not touched or reached the moisture on your forehead. If you wipe your feet with the moisture that you have taken from your forehead, then of course your wudu would not be in order. Of course, you can use that part of your hand that has not touched the moisture on your forehead. If you do that, then your wudu would be valid. Now, there are some people who use oil on their hair. Of course, some people have oily hair, but some people do use oil, especially in the subcontinent. There are many people who purchase oil from the market and they use oil, maybe for some medical reasons or for some other reasons they use oil. Now the question is that is wiping or is masah of the head valid if a person's hair is oily, or if a person has used oil? The ground religious authorities have said that if you wipe your head and make sure that your finger touches the scalp or the skin of your head, then your wiping is valid, your wudu is valid. But make sure that you make water or the moisture of your hand touch the scalp or the skin of your head, not the hair, the oily hair. If you touch the oily hair, your wudu would be invalid, it would be void. But make sure that your finger or the moisture reaches the scalp and the forehead. And of course, those who have very long hair and whose hair reaches the eyes and then their noses when they are combed and towards the front part of the head, then of course they have to divide their hair into 2 parts, and they have to make a line in between their hair and do the wiping on that line, so that he must make sure that he does the wiping and his fingers reach the skin of his head. As far as the wiping of the feet is concerned, then of course one has to wipe the upper sole, the upper part of the feet, beginning from the tip of the fingers, tip of the toes, up to the upper joint or to the joint. And of course, if you use one finger, that would be sufficient. If you wipe on one finger, or one nail, one toe, that would be sufficient. It is not necessary to wipe on all the toes. So, In this case, it would be very easy for women, because many women use nail polish. They are concerned about the validity of their wudhu. And this is one of the questions that is normally sent and that is normally directed to the offices of the grand religious authorities. Many women ask questions whether their wudhu is valid or not because they are using nail polish. They use nail polish on their hand nails and on their toes. Now, what is the solution and what is the answer? Of course, as far as the feet, the toes are concerned,
ناجيتك يا رحمن ودعوتك يا ديان يا خالق الإنسان الله 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 يا خالق الإنسان الله الله الله.
If a woman has used nail polish on her fingers, on her hand nails, then of course she must remove the polish. And there are people asking question about a new kind of nail polish which is called breathable nail polish. This is a question, of course, recently many people have begun to ask question about the breathable nail polish, a new kind of nail polish that is imported from some countries and that can allow water to penetrate and to reach the skin. This kind of nail polish, again, there is no certainty, there is no surety that the water reaches the skin or that the water reaches the nail plates. If you are not sure, if you are not certain that the water reaches the nail plates, then you have to remove it. You cannot keep the polish on your hand nails while performing wudhu. And if you are telling that, okay, the nail polish is breathable, of course, how the question is, where does the nail polish rest? It must rest on your nail plates. If it is on your nail plates, how does the water move and flow under the breathable polish, and why doesn't the polish fall off? So it means that water does not reach some parts of your nail plates. It might reach some parts of the nails or the nail plates, but it does not reach the other parts. And the ulama, scholars and mujtahideen have said that if a small part of your face or of your hand, including the nails, remain dry, then of course your wudhu would be invalid. You cannot offer your prayers with that wudhu. So you have to remove the nail polish. If you are going to perform ghusl, of course, I have to tell it here, if you are going to perform ghusl, you have to remove the entire nail polish from your hand nails and from your toes, because ghusl means that you will wash all parts of your body and no part of your body is left dry. Of course, only the hair is not necessary to be washed. Some people do ask questions about hair. Some women, because they have hair, long hair, and in winter it's very difficult for them to wash the hair while performing ghusl. Of course, it's not necessary for them to wash the hair, but they have to make sure that the water reaches the skin of their head. Now, brothers and sisters, when you perform wudhu, when you wipe, especially when you wipe your forehead and your feet, you must make sure that your head is dry and that your hair is dry, and also your feet should not be wet. There should be no moisture, no water on your feet. If they are wet, if there is moisture on your head, on the front part of your head, and if there is moisture on your feet, you have to make your feet dry, you have to make your head dry, you have to use something to remove the water and to wait for some time till your head and your feet become dry. Now, there is a circumstance, an occasion maybe, in which you might not have water on your fingers. For example, you are performing wuzu, the weather is extremely hot, and while washing your face and hands, the moment you want to wipe the front part of your head, then you see that there is no water on your fingers. Of course, in this case, you can take some moisture from your beard, and then do the wiping of your head. And also the position is the same with your feet. If you don't have enough moisture on your fingers, you can take moisture from your beard or from your face and then do the wiping. And of course, those who have beard, there is also a question whether it's necessary to wash beneath the beard, because some people have very dense beard. According to religious authorities, they have said that those who have a dense beard, thick beard, and the skin of their face is not visible through the beard, then it's not necessary to wash the face or the skin. To wash the beard would be sufficient, but if the skin is visible through the beard or through the hair of the face, then of course it is necessary to wash the skin and to wash the entire face and to make water reach the skin, because the skin is visible through the hair. Now, there is also a question. Some people ask, they say that okay, and sometimes, of course, they are in a hurry, or they cannot remove their shoes, or they are afraid of some robbers, or they are under taqiyya, they are observing quietism, or they hide their faith, and if they want to perform wuzu, they have to actually they cannot remove their socks, or they cannot move their stockings while performing wuzu. In such cases, of course, the ulama and scholars have allowed you to wipe on the socks or on the shoes. Yes, that is the condition. You have to take notice of the condition. If, of course, if you are in a great hurry, or if the weather is very cold and there is fear of life, or there is a robber, of course, then it's not necessary to remove your shoes or to remove your socks. You can wipe on the socks or on the shoes. Or if you are under taqiyya, of course, then you can wipe on your shoe and on your socks. Of course, if you are in a hurry due to fear of life, that is not any kind of haste, any kind of maybe you have an urgent work to do, you want to go to your office quickly. That is not a justified reason that you cannot under this pretext do the wiping on your socks. No. If you are in a hurry due to a robber, due to actually dacoits on the ways, or if you are afraid of your life, in this case, then you are allowed to wipe on the socks or on the shoes. Otherwise, you cannot do that. Of course, the remaining rules and conditions and also the details, the other details regarding wudu will be discussed in the following session. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم اختم بعفوك أجلي وحقق في رجاء رحمتك أملي وسهل إلى بلوغ رضاك سبلي وحسن في جميع أحوالي عملي.